Welcome back, you guys, to Life is Mary. Today I am going to be giving you guys some helpful tips on how to get your oil paintings to dry in really almost like an hour or 2 hours if you do these steps correctly, you all. Now, I had just created this oil painting for my mom's Mother's Day, and I really was hoping it would dry very quickly. And one thing that I did during this process was I did not use linseed oil. I did not use my paint solvents either when I was painting. I used paints directly out of the tube. Yes, you are hearing that correctly. Just use the paint straight out of the tube. Believe it or not, the oil paints that you have in your tubes actually have less oil in them than the agents you are using that will help loosen up the paint. I find if you are going to use linseed oil, you're going to use like a drop, but I really did not. All I did to loosen up my paint was I mixed it and then I smoothed it a numerous amount of times with my brush, and this was able to get my painting to be dry in just a few minutes. As you can see, this painting, I had just painted this layer and it was dry in almost like 2 hours. So those tips are really helpful as well. I will also say, using titanium white, I would say keep that to a minimum if you can. If you are going to use titanium white, I would say use the dry on dry method. After I had finished painting in my mom's skin tone and everything, when the paint was slightly damp or dry, when it was a little slightly damp, I did go in and rub in some white titanium paint, but it was very minimal. Like, you probably would not have even seen it on the brush if I showed you. So it was very lightly that I'm using the titanium whites. I usually used it on dry for the most part, but if I needed to blend it smoothly with her skin tone, I will wait until it was lightly damp in order for me to add that white highlight, as you can see. Also, another helpful tip I would say is, if you can, and this is a part of it's something that you can do, I would say go ahead and paint your backgrounds in acrylic. As you can see from my mother's painting, her whole entire outfit is in acrylic, and so is the background, and as you can see, it's just as rich as the oil painting, and that really comes from having a good use of contrast and a good use of shadows when you are creating these paintings, because it's important to note that a lot of people will be seeing them from far away, or they can see them from up close, but you want all your details to show from far away as well. I think that what makes a really great painting. It's also good to kind of have a paint that forces your audience to get up close, but sometimes that's not always the case. But yeah, so obviously I use acrylic for the background and for her clothing as well. Another helpful tip I would say is wait in between layers. Now, obviously I painted this one with one layer, but the second layer was obviously the white that I used in, and then obviously if I had to go in and blend, I would go in and blend. But it's good sometimes to kind of wait in between layers for it to dry. That way your painting dries quickly. Instead of having so many layers piled on top of each other, it takes a longer time for it to dry. I will also say, when it comes to blending, I will say give it a little bit of dry time before you blend. But that's just the way I paint. It really depends on what type of artist you are and how you paint your paintings and everything. But with me, whenever I am painting, I really lay down my colors first. I give it a little bit of dry time, and then I go in with a dry brush and I blend in the edges of that blotch of paint that I have put down, and that has always helped my paintings to stay vibrant and beautiful and look very rich in color and in texture as well. But yeah, you all, those are just some of my helpful tips that you can use for your paintings and everything. I wish you all luck. It's not easy doing oil painting, but it's so rewarding because the paint is such good, high quality, and they last, in my opinion, a lot longer than acrylics. But this was the oil painting that I created for my mom. I really enjoy this because this is my first time using this technique in this way. I had used it in a different way before, but this was my favorite way to use it. But this is the final product, you all. Good luck on your paintings, my fellow artists. Bye.